Casual here. Another week, another content drop from Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. This week they revealed the core endgame loop, Chaos Chambers. This is new for the franchise, and the fact that the endgame is there for launch is, well, awesome. Or is it? Let's find out. In a nutshell, Chaos Chambers are randomized dungeons that will take 20 to 30 minutes to run. The structure is pretty simple. 3 random maps, a mini-boss, another 3 random maps, and then a final boss. The random maps are selected from a pool of 60 possible options, so little chance of the same maps repeating. I have heard that there are only 3 options for the final boss, which is a little concerning, albeit there is nothing in the official announcement about this. All enemies from the game can appear with up to 3 armies per map, which I would take as being waves of enemies. Clear all enemies on a map to move on to the next one. With just 3 lives per team, this could be challenging stuff until you are geared up at least. The whole point of the Chaos Chambers is loot, and in particular filling out your builds. You get loot in 3 ways. Firstly, loot is dropped by enemies as per normal, and you keep this loot even if you don't finish the dungeon. Secondly, by completing the run and opening the chest in the Loot of Chaos area, which rewards you with gear and moon orbs, which are an in-game currency used at the enchantment re-roller to change the enchantment on a piece of gear. You can re-roll your gear as many times as you like, but each time you re-roll it gets more expensive. Whenever in-game currency is mentioned, I do worry that this is an opportunity for monetization that no one but the publisher wants. Let's hope that this is not the case. The final way is through crystals that you collect on completion of a map, with more awarded if you complete side objectives like destroying a statue of the Dragon Lord or killing enemies in a magic circle. These crystals are used in 3 ways. To buy targeted loot at the end of the Chaos Chamber. Yes, it's not all RNG. Well, not completely. In the Loot of Chaos area there are rabbit statues to which you can feed crystals, which is not disturbing at all. Seriously. Above each statue is an icon for the gear type they will vomit up when fed. SMGs, for example, which will come from the loot pool for that gear type. As Kent Rochefort, lead game designer, stated, now you can target which loot type you want without just farming the same boss over and over again for 20 hours. It is still somewhat random, but the player has some control on the kinds of loot they want to prioritize. This directly addresses one of the criticisms of prior Borderlands games, where certain bosses had large loot pools, making it very hard to get the item that you wanted. You can also use crystals to buy blessings at altars as you progress through the Chaos Chambers. These are buffs that apply for the remainder of your run. They are stackable, but at an increasing cost, and buff your stats, bigger ammo capacity, higher critical hit chance, and so on. Finally, you can use crystals to make the next encounter an elite one, with tougher enemies, but better loot. When you clear a map, you have a choice of 2 portals to move on to the next map, unless the mini-boss or boss is next, in which case, ready your weapons. There are 4 possible portals to choose from: a crystal die that awards more crystals, a gear die that awards you new loot when you beat the encounter, Queen Butt Stallion's Blessing, which provides a buff to your passive skills, and curses which either debuff your team or buff your enemies and are marked as easy, medium or hard. Choosing a curse will reward more crystals based on the difficulty that you select. So as your builds are refined, you can increase the difficulty to get even better loot, making the whole process more rewarding and very replayable. On completion of the Chaos Chamber, you will get a victory screen with every stat you could ever want on it. And in a move tailor-made for the community, there will be a featured run each week with fixed maps and bosses on which you will be ranked against the community as a whole. And this will cater for the speedrunners and completionists alike. The final thing that Gearbox mentioned was the Chaos Trial, without actually giving any details as to what this is. Maybe a legendary difficulty version, but at the rate they are dropping information, I'm sure we will find out before launch. I'm very excited by the Chaos Chambers. They sound like a great sandbox in which we can work on our builds and gather the gear we need to complete them. To find out more about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, check out this video here. Till next time, casual out.